10.25, this is the engagement setup sign-off document, and this comes at the end of our basically engagement setup section. Okay, now what this document is intended to do is just to give you a summary at the end of the day of what has happened in the engagement setup so that you're ready to go forward. As I mentioned last week, this is a document which once we implement what we call our strict adherence, you're not actually going to be able to go any further in the audit until you have signed this document off or until the partner has signed this off. But we have not implemented that yet. We will get to that eventually once everybody is up to speed with RAC. But you do need to be logged in. You cannot fill in this confirmation block without being logged in as a manager or partner. And it's basically just from the audit partner's point of view, this is where I would say you start reviewing. Here is the information. I know the client, maybe I don't want to go through the detail about what has been going on in the engagement acceptance, but I want to just make sure that appropriate selections has been made. So if I get to this document and I see, no, well, we've said we've declined the audit, I know there's a problem, and I will go back to that working paper and I will change what needs to be changed, or I will raise review notes. But if you as the audit partner are happy, you can just go and say, yes, I confirm. There's no EQCR required. Yes, I can confirm that. Now we get to the audit firm's independence, and if you recall from our session last week, I deliberately went and put some incorrect answers in there. And it tells me that the document has been signed off, but that there are 2 incomplete questions, and that there were 4 deviations noted, and in 3 of these deviations, insufficient reasons and actions have been recorded. So it gives me that level of detail on this working paper. So again, if I'm the audit partner and I see that, it's going to ring a bell and say, listen, I need to go and do something about this. If there are deviations and there are comments, and I'm not sure what those comments are, maybe I want to go back and review, or if I understand it, I know I was the one that completed it, I can say, yes, I'm happy, and I can move on. Then we get to individual team member independence, and that 10.03, we had a few clerks. You'll see that it names the clerks. Shane, I'm picking on you again this week. I hope there's not a John Smith watching, otherwise I'm picking on you as well inadvertently. And it goes and tells me for every single one of these staff members, have they signed off? So in other words, have they gone and put their initials and date in place? Are there unanswered questions? Are there any deviations? And are there deviations without valid reasons and proposed actions, and so on and so forth? Now, as the audit partner, if we get to this point where we've implemented this strict adherence, you can at this point say, yes, I confirm, and I know that the work is not complete, but I need to continue with the audit, so we will go back and address this. But at least then somebody of manager or partner level has had to go through this document and confirm that they understand where in the audit process they are. So it's almost like a little bit of a dashboard working paper that you have, and a review starting point for you to make use of. Okay. In this working paper, we haven't actually even selected the accounting framework, so that's sitting with a 0 in there at the moment. Competencies haven't been signed off. I've got my materiality at 6 million. I've got the audit type selection. I've got the entity size selected, and it does tell me that all components have been identified and allocated. Now this little yes, if this doesn't say yes, then you will not be able to populate the audit programs later in the file. And I'll come back to this later on as well. But this has got to say yes in order to populate your audit programs as well. So I'm going to say yes, I'm happy with that. And then there's a question here about a planning materiality lock. What we're saying here is in my 10.10, the planning materiality, you're actually able to lock down those values. So let's say you pulled in an interim TB, and now you need to go and import a new trial balance, but I don't want to go and recalculate materiality at this point. That was my planning materiality. We actually want to lock down that calculation there, and at that point we can go and reassess, revise materiality, and under section 18 there is a revised materiality working paper where we can go and do just that. We can go and revise our materiality. But at this point I want to lock my planning materiality. I can do journals, I can change the trial balance. I can clear the trial balance and import a brand new one.
Muted.